Hi all, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I have two absolutely disgusting stories to share with you. But before I begin, I just want to let you know that they both involve babies. I know I've done stories about babies before. As a matter of fact, my last video was about two precious babies, but I just want to let you know beforehand in case you don't want to listen. It's hard to listen to stories where children get hurt, but I feel the need to let you know what's going on out in the world and how incredibly sick people are. Okay. The first story comes out of Ellington Township, Michigan, about a man who was convicted in October of 2020 of the murder of his girlfriend and the stabbing of his 10-month-old daughter. According to police reports, 36-year-old Brandy Dixon returned home from the grocery store on December 15th of 2019, and while she was holding their baby and on the phone with her mother, her boyfriend, 38-year-old Larry Lyons, attacked her with a knife and stabbed her 18 times. The attack was so brutal, their baby suffered grazing wounds, as well as one near fatal wound that went right through her skull and into her brain. Brandy's mother told police she heard Brandy screaming, "He's got a knife, he's got a knife," right before the attack. I'm assuming her mother called police because Brandy was rushed to a local hospital where she died of her wounds, while their baby was airlifted to a hospital for treatment, then further transported to a children's hospital via helicopter. Their baby survived and made what the prosecutor referred to as a miraculous recovery, considering her extensive injuries. She's currently doing very well and is living with a family member. Lyons was found guilty of first-degree premeditated murder, assault with intent to murder, second-degree child abuse, third-degree child abuse, third offense domestic violence, and carrying a weapon with unlawful intent. Let me tell you what a catch this loser was before he killed Brandy and damn near killed his own baby. Lyons had 5 previous arrests for domestic violence. 5. And he was on probation for assaulting Brandy already when the stabbing occurred. So he was a great guy. The prosecutor said everyone associated with this case was deeply impacted by it. It is one of those cases you can't forget. Law enforcement and first responders' efforts went a long way to saving the baby's life, coupled with the tremendous medical care she received. So incredibly tragic. Could you imagine being her mother on the phone, knowing your daughter is being attacked and you're completely helpless? God. I would have nightmares every night for the rest of my life. Now, I'm going to resist the urge to go into a big, long diatribe about domestic abuse and people who don't leave it, because I know all cases are different. And I have another story to do. I understand people stay for a multitude of reasons, and they often can't see a way out. I get it, and I'm not judging. But I will never, ever understand why people stay with abusive boyfriends or girlfriends. Children or not. I did a video not too long ago where I did talk about escaping abusive relationships, and after I did it, I came across something called trauma bonding, which I never heard of before. It helped me understand much of what I went through growing up and made me wonder if it isn't what keeps people in abusive relationships. I won't go into it here, but I found it very interesting. It just hurts my heart so much when I read about cases like this where they result in murder when all the abuse was already there. He had 5 previous arrests for domestic violence. Now, I don't know if all 5 are with Brandy, but one was at least. So, did she not Google this guy's criminal record before she got involved with him? Or did she just think he would get better with time? And really, going into a whole lecture about how people deserve better than to be abused wouldn't make much of a difference anyway. I recently did a story about a woman who was divorcing her husband because he hit her, and he ended up getting her to meet up with him at a gas station to talk, where he shot and killed her right there in her car. So, I guess there's no point in saying anything about it anymore. She wanted out, and she died trying. She had a 14-year-old daughter. Okay, on to the next absolutely disgusting story out of San Antonio, Texas, where police say a 2-month-old baby, 2 months, died on November 10th of 2020. Brixlee Marie Lee was found unresponsive in her West Texas home last weekend and was rushed to the hospital, where she was found to have puncture marks on her head, arms, and legs, and her urine tested positive for heroin. Yes, you heard me right. Heroin. She was transported to Cook's Children's Hospital, where she was put on life support and fought for her life for up to 3 days when she finally passed away. Police say they learned that Brixley's mother, 21-year-old Destiny Harbor, gave birth to her at home in August of 2020, and that Brixley never received any professional medical care after her birth. They also said that while executing a search warrant at their home, investigators found small quantities of heroin, methamphetamine, marijuana, and pills, in addition to drug paraphernalia. So, since we know that precious little Brixley didn't inject herself with heroin, and the investigators must have come to that conclusion also, her mother, father, and grandmother were all arrested and charged with causing serious bodily injury to a child, which will now hopefully be upgraded to first-degree premeditated murder for both of her parents and her mother's mother as well, if she was involved in any way, or neglected to stop Brixley's piece of shit parents from injecting her with drugs. And before you even think about trying to defend her in the comments, that baby had puncture marks in her head. Her head. So don't even try to tell me any grandmother worth a shit wouldn't have noticed that, questioned it, and removed that baby from her parents' care. She lived with Brixley's parents, so don't try to convince me she didn't know they were doing drugs. Heroin. Not buying it. Don't even waste your time, because I don't doubt for 1 second that she was doing them right along with them. I love my kids, and I wouldn't think twice about laying down my life for them. But let me find puncture marks on my grandbaby and suspect drugs. 1. How does that saying go? I brought you into this world, and I'll take you right back out. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you on my next video.